पश्यन्ति वा?
आमाम्
आमाम्
अस्तु सो प्रायः आङ्ग्लभाषायां भवति अत्र so because to explain some terms it might be easier to use English. So the reason why we have a meeting today is a webinar today is for we are having a lot of event requests coming up with so many Samskrita Kendrams from last year. So we thought it might be better for us to come up with a process, a easier process so that we can interact very quickly between the people who are requesting the events and between our team. Earlier, we used to use a lot of email and back and forth. So we have come up with a system where we can do most of the communication through email, but the requests and requirements will be through Google Documents. Astu. So what does the Web Gana do? Primarily, we maintain the website. So it's through a vendor that we maintain the website. And the website is like our front end. Underneath that, we have a database. And that is a separate system. In that system, it's a CRM system. And in that system, we do all the registrations, the account management. We support other teams like bookstore team, Samajhanadi team, Prachara Gana, to send emails, to order books. And I think Venkatesh Mahoday is here. So that's a Sambhashana Sandesha team. So those are done through this Neon CRM team. And sometimes there is some confusion on what we get occasional requests to create email accounts and change passwords. We don't really do that from our side because that is part of Google Suite. And you can get that information through helpdesk@sbusa.org. So mainly we'll be covering three main topics. How do you submit a event request? And what happens after submitting the event request? How do we gather your requirements? And so to submit an event request, you have to go to this request.sbusa.org. Request, please note that it is Bahuvajanam. And I will go there directly now. So it will take you to this request. And there are some things that underneath that website where you can do. One is, of course, the event work request. Underneath that, there are some information on how to request a refund. So we have been getting these questions very often. So we put that kind of information over there. And sometimes, each Karisthanam or Kendra, they want to have their own website. So this could be a subdomain website that comes under Samskrita Bharati USA. So we actually create a template site using a URL, for example, trivalley.samskritabharatiyusa.org. And then, we give control to those people who want to be editing that site from that local Kendra. That way, they can build the site as they need. And during Samaji Nidhi time, we also do take some requests for peer-to-peer social fundraising. Usually it's a self-help page. Astu. So and I will be covering the part of how to submit the request. And after that, Priya Radhakrishnan Bhagini will be covering the part of what happens after that. So when you come here, there are a couple of videos. If you are interested, it covers some information of what we do in the background. But we have noticed many people are, don't have the time to watch all the videos. So, so that's why we are having the webinar here today. So, and I'm going to put in an event request. Usually this is what you would do. Somebody from your team will come here, and there is some information of how, what is the process and all. So I put my email address there, and then usually sometimes it's a Samskrita Kendram, maybe it's a North Carolina or somewhere, you put the team's name. That way we have a few more people besides you to contact. So in this case, let's say I'm just putting my own name and web Gana. So that, let's say I'm making this request for the web Gana, or you can put your own your Kendram name, and I will put my phone number, and then that will take you to the next page. So here, if you want to add a few more people's name, you can add those email IDs here. That way we'll keep them in CC. So let's say there are 2 people, and this is the main form. So what kind of event it is? So it will be the title of the form. So let's say we want to create a Samskrita Kendram registration for in Carmel Kendram. That's where we are. And just to classify, you can pick one of these because we can run some statistics on that. Location this year, it is online. And the date will be, we might be starting in September. So the event start date after Labor Day weekend. So this should be the start actually. So, and sometime in 2021, 2022, let's say we are done in May. And if you have any other details or comments for us, and then you can just submit. Once the submission happens, then we get a notification email, you get a notification email, and then we will start the process of requirement gathering. So at this stage, I like to pause and ask if you have any questions, and if not, then we will go to Priya Bhagini's presentation.
Namaste, Mahodaya. Last year, we started for the first time with you, and so suppose you want to maintain everything as the same and make some changes. I guess Priya Bhagini will talk about it. But do we have to indicate that somewhere? Because if everything is the same, it's just like switching it on again, right? But if you want to make any changes also, like say last year we had some bad experiences too. But by that, do we we want to make any changes? Then what? So just to put this in your.
So your question is, last year you had done Samskritam event, yes, and you want to use the mostly the same kind of event,
right?
But there are some changes. How to do that, right?
Yeah, the dates and so on. So do we have to indicate that, or you?
Yeah. So what when we collect this information, right? We require for current event, we will basically in the backend we'll be using last year's event. We'll do a copy.
Okay. Great.
But we just need information like start date, end date, those kind of questions.
Okay.
And Ramya
Bhagini, प्रतिवर्षं तु नूतन document अपि भवति किल? So you don't add an errata to last year FAQ or last year's flyer. You update you ensure that you have changed all the dates. So that will be, so this is the starting process. Once the process get kicked off, then submission of documents happen. So at that time, we ensure that you also provide the new documents, because we can reuse a lot of things in the backend. But to ensure that we have all the new information, it's better for you to submit all the new things and then say, yes, we can reuse that same design.
Okay.
But information should still be updated because the things may need to be changed.
Okay.
Structure may need to be changed.
Dhanyawada.
We can reuse it.
Mahodaya, namaste. Atra Akhila Asmi, Pittsburgh-tah. Atra event name, for event name, do we have to, if there are multiple events happening the same year, so do we have to submit for each and every event one request, or is there an option for pick multiple events the same time?
So it's better to have multiple, because sometimes, let's say you are having some registration for Samskrita Kendram, right? Mm-hmm. So the data that we need from people is different from, let's say you are having a Sloga Spardha or something, right? So the questions will be different, the answers will be different. So that's why it's better to have multiple events.
Okay. So for each and every event, we have to separate one request.
Yes, well.
Okay, धन्यवाद.
I mean, unless it is an addendum to an existing event, you are just making some change to have an extra field or a report of a different kind, something, making a request. But it's a different event. If things are going to be very different dates, then yes, it's a different request. Ramya Bhaginyaha kaschana.
Ramya Bhagini.
Chintita, could you just elaborate, Mahodaya, tatra details and comments madhye, what type of information would you be looking for, or that might be helpful?
Tatra, Bhagini, so basically you can leave that blank unless, this is just some comments that we are looking for. The reason is the next step is where we actually collect your details. We want to know, what kind of questions you want to ask. For each class, how many people you want to limit the class to, what is the price of each ticket. So that will come later.
Tadeva Mahodaya, Prathamam, when we get to that step in the form, Tatreva we end up submitting all that information. Anantara Antato Gatva Punaha we
Tatra. So our recommendation is not to submit the information at that time.
Astu. Kinchit
Because what? So tatra parivartanam jadam. So we change the process slightly. Maybe we'll just redo some of the form and take out some stuff and make it a bit more simpler.
Astu. Prayaha the details, comments ante agachanti chet prayaha, like besides everything that you have collected from us, still if we have more things to do, paragraph for madhya vayam submit kartu.
Yeah, so the first one is basically, just making a request and, it's a placeholder. The second step is where most of the work happens. One more thing I had was, some recommendation and best practices we have is, Pashantu, so all the parents who come, they want to pay the money, fill in some information, and they want to get on with their life, right? So we recommend that, only 5 to 10 questions be there. That way, they can quickly, because sometimes the parents has 2 children, right? So they have to pick for each child. And, and many people actually don't log in. If you log in, some of the registration, all of our information is in the database already. So if you log in, that is be better. So we recommend that you keep the form simple, ask just enough information for you to get going. That way our request process is easy. And, so when people come into the registration, you put simple language there. This is this and this Kendram. These are the ticket prices. So that is our recommendation. So I just put in a slide for best practices. One more comment I had was, so sometimes, somebody has put in the landing page. So when people do the landing page, we don't really read through and correct all the grammatical mistakes or anything. So please take responsibility for correcting all those. Because, we usually don't read and do any editing work. We just put it, whatever you give us, we copy and paste into the landing page.
Yeah, this is even more important because the number of events has been growing in the past year, especially the online. But
so the information content ownership is with you.
It's the Karyakartas, yes.
So so there should not be any typos, or it has all the right information to ensuring that it is correct. It is the submitter's responsibility, not the Gana's responsibility. So please keep that in mind.
Astu. Tarhi agre nayatu Priya Radhakrishnan Bhagini.
Presentation mode. So once you have submitted the event to the request website, we will send you back an email with one of us from the WebGana will send you back an email with the link to a Google folder. And that is where you will be able to enter the details for gathering the event, details of price, attendee information, and all that. And I'll pull up one. sample email. So generally we'll send you an email like this with the folder, and the folder will generally look like this. You will see 3 files in there, and you are welcome to, within this folder, add also any flyer or PDF or image that you'd like that can go on the landing page. And make sure when you add that flyer or image, you please use your personal email ID and not your SBUSA email ID, because when you use your personal email ID, that's when it can be public to everybody. Otherwise, the SBUSA ID makes public only to the Samskrita Bharati community that has anybody who has Samskrita Bharati emails. So add that file, and the requirements in the deliverables page is where you're going to want to enter details for your event. You can enter your name details, and this is where our deliverables will be. But before we get to that, you want to enter your ticket prices, any early bird discounts, dates, times, or graduated prices, graduated pricing details, as well as like the simple information that you want to ask for each of the registrants, like the name, email, phone, address, and things like that. This is the registrant details. So each person will be entering the registrant details as well as the attendee. So in case this is a Bala Kendram, again, keep this simple. This is just a sample. This is when we send you this, you will see this information. This is the dummy data. So if there's anything that you want to change, you are welcome to do so. And any other information, event-specific information you want to add. So this is the main page you want to update. And the second thing that you want to change and update is the landing page. The landing page is what's visible with all the major information for the event. This is a sample landing page. We will often, again, put in maybe potentially information from the previous Samskrita Kendram, or the one from the previous year. So please review this, make sure all the dates, content, and everything has been updated for your event. And you may format this to however you like as well. So we will pick off the formatting exactly as you have done so, and we will put it within our registration page. And then finally, the third in that file is any FAQs that you want to add in. So again, update this content as you like, and cater it to, or tailor it to whatever event you're planning. So once we have that, give us about, because we're all volunteers, so give us about up to 7 days to complete. Generally, we might get it done sooner than that, but give us up to a week to complete the event and send you a link. And that link that we send you will be in this section. So you can go, one of us will send you an email saying that the event is complete, please review it. And of course, we do our own testing and our own review, but make sure you do that on your side as well. And I will pull up.
प्रश्नः अस्ति भगिनि, प्रभु अस्ति श्रीमान् केन्तात्, वयम् इदानीं पञ्जीकरणपत्रं वयं तु कुर्वन्तः स्मः, तत् निष्कास्य एतत् करणीयं वा इदानीं?
No, we will create the registration page for you.
Bhagini, so Mahodaya Prichati, so they already have a separate registration form. Is that what you're asking, Prabhu Mahodaya? So the recommendation is to use Samskrita Bharati's own form. The reason is, all our customer data comes into our database.
Right.
But if you have been using that till now, there is no hard and fast rule here, but recommendation is that we bring those people into our database.
True, Mahodaya. What I'm trying to say is we've been doing the form, and based on that form, we do a lot of mapping based on who's been studying in the class, which class they are going to do, and so on and so forth. There is a lot of things that happens after the form, after the processing is done, right? The basic processing is done, right? and that's where we have to recreate all of that based on the data that you are giving, that you are farming, right? And now we have to do that back end work, because there are few students that stay back, right? Because they are not able to do their, whatever reason they stay back. Some of them go ahead. So we need to do that mapping, teacher assignments, and everything comes from that तत्रात् एव आगच्छति. अत्र तु परिवर्तनं करणीयम्, अस्माभिः परिवर्तनं करणीयं चेत् समयस्य अभावः अस्ति. अहं किं वदन् अस्मि, इदानीं तु प्रीमार्ट् न करोति चेत् वरं वा अग्रिमे वर्षे वयं करिष्यामः. बिकास् मै फार्म् इस् आल्रेडि रेडि, वि आर् आल्रेडि अबौट् टु सेण्ड् इट् आउट्, रैट्? सर्वं निष्कास्य अत्र भवामि चेत्, अत्र करोमि चेत् चिन्ता नास्ति, करोमि, but I have to do a lot more other work after the fact.
It's up to you, Mahodaya. So, if we have, when are you planning to do the release of the registration form on your side?
I am planning to do it within the next couple of days, right? I have to create a PayPal link, and then the form is ready. We already tested it. It's all good. And we are, I'm about to send it. In fact, we usually do this in March, right? I'm late this year.
You are very efficient then.
No. It's not efficiency. It's just a matter of like getting stuff done so that we can be worried about other things, right?
Astu. Chintamastu. In this year, you continue with what you have, and next year we'll think about it.
Aham kim karame Mahodaya? Aham bhavate preshishyami. Bhavate no chet bhavatbihi preshishyami. Asmakam e-patram preshishyami. Bhavantah pashyantu. तत्र किमपि तथैव करणीयम् इति न, समान रूपं भवति चेत् वरम् अग्रिमे वर्षे वयं करिष्यामः.
अस्मिन् वर्षे भवतः तु झटिति करणीयं खलु, तादृशसमये अस्माकं समये नास्ति. अस्तु, चिन्ता मास्तु, अस्मिन् वर्षे भवान् तथैव कुरु.
किमर्थम् एतस्य द्वारा कुर्मः इति तत्र अस्माकम् आशयः चेत्, अनेकेषु केन्द्रेषु एवं स्वयं गूगल फॉर्म अथवा जॉट फॉर्म्स किमपि रचयित्वा पेपाल लिंक रचयित्वा ते कुर्वन्ति. धनं तु आगच्छति, पञ्जीकरणविवरणानि तु केन्द्रस्य आयोजकैः प्राप्यन्ते, न कोऽपि क्लेशः, कार्यं चलति. परन्तु सङ्गृहीतानि विवरणानि विकीर्णानि सन्ति. The information that is collected is all scattered among multiple different kendras. It doesn't go to a central database. And also, so Neon CRM is basically a very lot of features. It's a hosted cloud-based CRM system. So all our data we're trying to basically aggregate it in one place, so that in the future, if we have to do analysis, try to get report and so on, it will be easier from there.
अङ्गीकरोमि महोदय, भवता यत् उक्तं तत् सत्यमेव, अङ्गीकरोमि. तथैव वदन् अस्मि, अस्मिन् वर्षे वयं अस्मिन् वर्षे स्वामध्ये किमपि अस्ति सर्वं भवद्भ्यः प्रेषयिष्यामि.
अस्तु,
अतः CRM मध्ये स्थापयतु. अग्रिमे वर्षे वयं तु नेशनल रजिस्ट्रेशन पञ्जीकरण, राष्ट्रीय पञ्जीकरण
परन्तु अत्र किमर्थम् एवं वयं वदामः चेत् कथनस्य तात्पर्यम् इदमेव. पूर्वं तथा भवति स्म वयं, परन्तु एवं कुर्मः तर्हि सर्वाणि विवरणानि एकत्र सङ्गृहीतानि भवन्ति. So all the information would be sort of collected and it will be present in one database from where we can easily extract information out in the future as and when we want. And also we have reporting tools. So whenever a registration is done, a report link is also sent so that the organizers, the local coordinators can download the report anytime they want using a password. It's password protected. So all those things are there. But of course, another thing that you will also come to hear soon is there are some limitations in this registration form. So we have to design it in one particular way. There are some kind of discount structures may not be possible. We'll come to see that. So some adjustments will have to be made. We'll get to know about this when Priya Bhagini goes further.
अस्तु महोदय, धन्यवादः.
So Priya Bhagini, I have a question for you. This is Rekha from Keri Kendra. I know you mentioned that, after we key in the registration request and drop in all the forms, the 3 forms, there'll be a 7-day period, right? You work with us if there is missing information or incorrect information, not incorrect, maybe missing. Is that accurate?
Yes, we will send you back the link, the registration link.
Okay, so you're not vetting the data that is input, but if there is something missing or it's out of order, then you'll work.
No, okay. We're taking the data you're giving us and we're making the forms so that you can use to have the, for individuals register and pay and do all that.
Okay.
Yes.
At the end, we will ask you to do a test ticket. That way you can see what comes up in the report. So if you miss something, you let us know.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. That's helpful.
There'll be 2 rounds of testing. One is the developer, the WebGana itself will do 1 round of unit test and then give the registration link before making it go live to the originator of the request and ensure that they do a couple of different kinds of registration to ensure that the data that they want to send and they're collecting everything is okay and give the go ahead. That's when we'll basically clear up all the test registrations and then we can make it go live and then you can publicize it. So another thing will also come up is, so normally registrations would have a fee involved. So to test a registration, there are 2 ways to test. One is, during the testing phase, let's not have any fee so that the originator also, when they want to test it, they don't have to undergo extra work of submitting the credit card information and then requesting refund. So instead, there's another way to do it, which is basically always going for the PayPal form of payment. So registration, because you also want to sometimes test various combinations of registration, which will come up with various fee structure, because you would like to trade those combinations too. So you want to try that. And then at the end, when you select the PayPal kind of registration, PayPal kind of payment, just click on that and go to PayPal. Don't complete it, just close it. Then if you download the report, you'll see that the registration is in the pending state, which is okay. That means at least everything else is fine. If you verify the data, all the data that you have entered, if it has arrived, and also the fee structure, whatever you're expecting to see, if it is there, then things are good. That's one way to test it.
प्रश्नः अस्ति तर्कं कर्तुं न इच्छामि किमर्थम् अड्रेस् पृच्छति that's a very personal thing किल कुतः आगच्छति इति पर्याप्तं किल किमर्थम् अड्रेस् पृच्छति
पुनः वदतु
why are you asking for address it's a more information from somebody that if I'm from New England, if I say sorry, I've never been to New England, but if I say I'm from Boston, पर्याप्तं किल
so sometimes we send communication letters. No, we send.
महोदय क्षम्यतां तत्र क्रेडिट कार्ड आवश्यकं चेत् एड्रेस् आवश्यकं खलु
तदपि अस्ति तदपि भवति for the credit card payment, but other than that we also hold on to the information, the contact information, including the addresses, so that if we have to contact people, then we can contact people. And also we have a lot of e-commerce transactions that happen for which we definitely need the addresses.
Anyway.
So the credit card information, that is just the payment processor, they take care of it. So this is less of a financial information that we hold, so less security issues.
That's also why the registration links or the report links that we give you is private and only for you to see and not shared publicly.
Of course.
Because it all feeds back into Neon CRM, right? Because it's a CRM and we use it for homogeneity and all those other things as well.
Venkatesh Mahodaya, Bhavan.
Ekah prashna asti, Priya Bhagini. Can you just take me back on where you said you should use your personal email ID and not the SBUSA? Can you clarify that point one more time?
When we send you this this folder link, if you want to add a flyer, make sure you create the flyer in your personal account
I see.
And then drop the link to that file here.
Okay.
So the reason, so within our Samskrita Bharati Google Drive, right? Shares, you cannot share any document publicly. So that's like a security feature.
Satyam.
So that is why, if there is something that you have to share publicly, like a FAQ and refund policy, or if you need to share a flyer that everybody has to see, then, just create it with your private ID and drop it here.
Any sharing information for that matter, right?
Public sharing.
Public sharing.
Yes, it should be public sharing.
Okay. Sadhu, agree.
That's just a feature of the G Suite technology.
Okay.
So as for the deliverables that you received, this is the page I was on. This is the registration information field, which you can actually go in and test, and you can do the test, the testing for the for payment and everything as well. And that's where you can do like a test payment or like a PayPal test, and you can go back when you see the report link, you should be able to see it's either pending or declined, depending on how you tested it. And this is the link that we will actually send you. And then once you press this, then it'll take you to the registration page. And the link that we give you, this page is what your landing page is. So that's what you entered in this page. So as you send it here, we will take it and we'll put it in this page here with the same formatting. Just keep that in mind. That's the front page. And again, we mentioned already, the password protected attendee link will be sent to you. That'll be in this requirements page. It'll be sent right here. And let's see here. And once we've sent that information back to you, we'll actually put it on the SBUSA website. So just let us know that you've checked everything, you've tested everything, and we will put it on the website. So the one thing that if you wish to put on the website, if you wish to make a banner, like sometimes you'll see I can open up the website. There we go. So this is the banner, the International Dance Day you see. So you can send us an image if you like. If it's one of those events that requires a banner that needs to be put up here, but most of the events will fall in this area right here. You see all the Samskrita Kendrams. But if you need a banner, please send us an image. That image should be of dimensions 900 by 250 pixels. So if you send that, we can easily put it up for you, and we'll have it up there until the event is over. Those are the follow-up tasks. And that's pretty much it. I'll open it up to any questions beyond that.
प्रश्नः अस्ति अत्र अन्येषां केन्द्राणां कार्यकर्तारः सन्ति भवन्तः सर्वे प्रौढशिक्षणार्थं नूतन पञ्जीकरणं पत्रं प्रेषयन्ति वा प्रौढानां कृते नूतन पञ्जीकरण पत्रं प्रेषयन्ति वा नो चेत् बालानां कृते यथा कुर्मः तस्मिन् अवसरे अपि तथैव कुर्वन्ति
साधारणतया पञ्जीकरणम् इति परिवारस्य पञ्जीकरणं भवति केन्द्रेषु तर्हि प्रौढाः बालकाः सर्वे अन्तर्भूताः एव भवन्ति परिवारस्य इति परन्तु अपि प्रतिकेन्द्रं भिन्नरीत्या शुल्कस्य संविधानं भवति सो इट्स् अ डिफरेंट स्ट्रक्चर सो इट डिपेंड्स अतः भवतः प्रश्नार्थम् उत्तरम् इत्युक्ते एकमेव उत्तरम् इति नास्ति परन्तु केषुचन केन्द्रेषु तत्र परिवारार्थम् एकं शुल्कं तत्र के के भागिनः सन्ति ओ प्रौढः एकः भागी अस्ति सः प्रौढः वा अथवा बालकः वा तर्हि कस्मिन् वर्गे अस्ति सः कस्मिन् वर्गे पञ्जीकर्तुम् इच्छति तथा वयं विवरणानि सङ्गृह्णीमः
अन्य एकः विषयः तत्र so when we people have registered, right, if you have requesting a refund, see with the new neon CRM payment, we Samskrita Bharati has to pay 3% or something, right, Giri Mahodaya, for each transaction.
So normally we lose 2.2%, and for American Express payment is actually 2.9%. So normally, so that when we refund, we don't get that money back from the Neon CRM payment processing. From PayPal, we get it back, but still there's a transaction fee of 30 cents on both of them. So what Sanjay Modi is trying to say is, when somebody does a cancellation, please institute a cancellation policy where there is a little bit of fee that is associated with it, mainly to cover one aspect, which is we are going to lose some money because we may, let's say if the registration fee was 200. So technically we, I mean, our payment processor is going to take 2.2%, which is basically $4.40 plus another 30-cent transaction fee. So $4.70. Now, if you say that, oh, if they are canceling after 4 months, if they decide to cancel, if you're refunding for $200, actually for a registration that we had spent time in actually getting it and then refunding it, we are losing $4.70. So that's the reason why it is good to have right up front a cancellation policy saying that, okay, if you cancel within so many days, then maybe $5 or $10 or $15 or $20, a gradation out there, something like that, because that also would bring in some amount of sincerity from the registrants too, saying that, because otherwise just in the last moment at any time they'll just cancel and go because they're getting the full money. So that is something to keep in mind.
And there's the separate email to request the
right. So have that a separate process. So ask them to send an email for a cancellation to the registration coordinator of that event, which is locally probably as part of your FAQ or as part of your information that you give for registration. You can institute that. So when you get that information, you collect all the details like the name of the registrant, their email address, the date of the registration, and how much is the fee that they paid, and what is the reason for cancellation, how much is the amount that should be refunded, and the transaction number. It's also called the charge ID that is associated with it. So if you submit all this information, the person who is the registration coordinator from the Kendram, if he submits it along with the all the details to refund@sbusa.org. So that's the ID. Then that information will be processed and the refund would be issued and a response would be sent probably within 24 hours. That will happen. But usually for the registrant to see the actual credit, because the credit card companies take a little bit of time. So we normally advise 5 to 10 business days for them to see the credit in their online transactions. It may happen even sooner than that, but that is the general advice that even our payment processor gives us.
अन्ये प्रश्नाः सन्ति वा? So one question I had, anybody knows the difference between a registrant and an attendee? What is the difference between registrant and attendee?
So if I register, then I am the registrant, but my family members might attend, they are the attendees.
So there is an option for registrant to become an attendee. So there's a checkbox. So you don't have to re-enter the information. Astu. So I think we can conclude in that case, right?
So one more thing regarding the cancellation. So the cancellation request, whoever is the registrant that locally should be first sent only to the local registration coordinator who is taking care of the registrations. Then that registration coordinator should get all the information, decide what is the amount to be refunded, and then all the above details that earlier details that I had mentioned, and they should send the information to refund at samskritabharatiusa.org, but do not please copy the registrant on that email, because this is an internal process. So registrant facing is just the local Kendra people. The internal process of registration, basically the canceling of the registration in the NCRM database and the refund, issuing refund, that's just an internal process. We don't want to expose that to the registrant outside.
So we are requesting each of you to please submit your requests as soon as possible, because this year we know there are going to be so many Samskrita Kendrams coming up. So we don't want to wait until September or August. See, our team, actually we have around a few people, but usually takes a turnaround time of 7 days or so, because we are all volunteers in the team. So we really want to get this done as soon as possible. The faster you submit your request, the faster we can get it back to you. And when somebody gives you back the folder and asks you to submit the requirements, please make sure that, either maybe, our team might be taking too long. Just send a reminder. If your team is taking too long, we will send the reminders. That way we will coordinate and try to do this as soon as possible.
At the same time, please do note that it's going to take a little bit of time. Okay, anywhere between 2 to 7, 7 days for it to complete. So be prepared for that. So sometimes we do get, as we always hear in workplaces, oh, when do you need it? Oh, I need it yesterday. Yeah, that's all good for saying, but it's not going to happen. So please do keep that in mind. So if you want it soon, please do collect all the information and submit it, and be a little patient. Okay. Don't say that, oh, it took me time, but I want it tomorrow. That's not going to happen, because all of us are in the same boat. We also have all other responsibilities, including a lot of Samskrita Bharati responsibilities. So please do keep that in mind.
One other small thing, occasionally, sometimes we have free events also. We do have the option of putting in like a, if you wish to donate button in there. So if desired.
Any further questions? Anybody wants to do the
Antima Prashna Mahodaya, Panjikarane Sangirhitani Vivarnani केभ्यः प्रेषणीयं मया अस्माकं केन्द्रे सङ्गृहीतानि विवरणानि सन्ति अस्मिन् वर्षे तु अहं तु यथा पूर्वे वर्षे कृतवन्तः तथैव करिष्यामि परन्तु सङ्गृहीतानि विवरणानि केभ्यः प्रेषणीयं
सङ्गृहीतानि विवरणानि मुख्यतया समाजनिधि @samskritabharatiusa.org तत्प्रति एकं पत्रं प्रेषयतु इदानीम् अस्माकं केन्द्रे एवं सङ्गृहीतानि विवरणानि सन्ति किं फॉर्मेट तत्र एक्सेल फॉर्मेट ततः टेम्प्लेट प्राप्य तत्र भवान् योजयित्वा प्रेषयतु तर्हि अस्माकं मास्टर् डेटाबेस मध्ये कार्यकर्ता तत्र योजयेत् तत्र वयं मध्ये मध्ये इंपोर्ट कुर्मः नियामक डेटाबेस मध्ये
अस्तु अस्तु अहं गूगल शीट्स मध्ये शेयर करिष्यामि महोदय
तद् प्रथमं तस्य सम्पर्कं करोतु अस्माकं समाजनिधि @samskritabharatiusa.org तत्र टेम्प्लेट सह प्रेषयेत् तद् टेम्प्लेट भवता योजनीयं भवति विवरणानि
अस्तु 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 तथैव करिष्यामि महोदय अस्तु धन्यवादः
एकः प्रश्नः अस्ति Aniket from Iowa Kendram. Will the recording of this meeting be available later?
So we have this request website, right? We'll try to host it there and send you all the link to that page.
Astu, धन्यवाद महोदय.
धन्यवाद. Any more questions? By the way, maybe we'll introduce ourselves from the web Gana, because you all see us once in a while. You have not seen us. Some of you know us. So maybe I'll start with myself. Mama nama Sanjayah. Aham Indianapolis Raje Vasami. 2012 आरभ्य मम संस्कृत भारत्याः परिचयः. राष्ट्रीयस्तरे वेब्गणस्य दायित्वम् अस्ति। अस्तु प्रिया भगिनी।
नमस्ते, अहं प्रिया, अहं बोस्टन् नगरे वसामि। अहं संस्कृतभारती 2000 मध्ये आरम्भं कृतवती, वेब्गणे 2011 2012
मिलीनियल् अस्ति। गिरिमहोदय।
नमस्ते, मम नाम गिरिधरः। संस्कृतभारत्यां तु मम उपस्थितिः 20 वर्षेभ्यः पूर्वं जाता। वेब्गणे प्रायशः 10 वर्षेभ्यः पूर्वं तत्र आवश्यकता आसीत् इति कारणात् तत्र आरम्भं कृतवान्। इदानीमपि मुख्यतया साफल् विवरणानि तत्र अहं सम्बन्ध कार्याणि पश्यामि, परन्तु अन्येषु तत्र कार्येषु अपि यथा आवश्यकता तत्र यथा आवश्यकं तथा अहं साहाय्यं करोमि।
मुरली महोदय।
नमस्ते नमस्ते मम
तत्र जनद्वयम् अस्ति। भगिनीमपि आनयतु महोदय।
न, सा यदि एतत् मध्ये स्थापयति, स्पीकर् अपि न्यूनं करोति तर्हि फीड्बैक् न।
क्षम्यतां, मम नाम मुरलीधरः। अहं बोस्टन् समीपे एक्टन् नगरे वसामि, मैसेच्यूसेट्स् राज्ये। 2016 तः अहं वेब्गणा बुक् स्टोर् मध्ये कार्यं करोमि।
So he is the person to contact for the store questions. Astu, idanim Ramya.
He is not the person to contact for store questions.
No, not the books. Okay.
Bookstore act, because it's only the back end, so he will not be contacted directly by the people.
Satyam. Agre Ramya Bhagini.
Namaste all. First of all, sorry, I'm not that fluent in Sanskrit yet, although I've been a part of Samskrita Bharati and event creation for quite some time, probably since 2014, but still haven't become fluent or haven't even started. Hopefully, I will do it soon. I'm located in Alpharetta, in Atlanta.
धन्यवादः भगिनी। अग्रे राजीव भगिनी अस्ति, रश्मि भगिनी अस्ति।
Namaste. I'm Raji from Acton. I'll follow suit with Ramya. I can speak Sanskrit, but very interested in volunteering, helping people out with the agency. Probably the newbie of the WebGana team.
Yes, we have 2 or 3 new team members. So Raji Bhagini is one of the new members. Agre Rashmi Bhagini.
Hi, my name is Rashmi and I live in Boston, Acton, a town called Acton near Boston, Massachusetts. And I'm the wife of Muralidhar Mohodaya, and he has been volunteering. And I recently signed up to volunteer in WebGana. And as Raji said, I can understand Sanskrit, but not talk fluently yet. So.
Dhanyawada Bhagini.
Anybody? Safal Mata Pitraha. So they're all Safal parents. That is another.
Everybody, most of them are recruited by Giri Mahodaya or Priya Bhagini. Did I miss anybody from the WebGana? So you can put a face when we contact you by email. That way you know. And sometimes we try to call you on the phone if you need something else. So we will also try to reach out to you. So this has been a good event that we can all see each other face to face through the video. Astu tari samapayama va? Kopi mangala shlokam vadati va? Anybody? Govindaraj Mahodaya?
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Dhanyawadaha. Namaste.
Dhanyawadaha.
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 Thank you for all the hard work you do.